7 years. And then he has always been a person of scholarly temperament, a person whom we all look up to. And I am rather pleased to introduce him to all of you. He is an alumnus of Banaras Hindu University. He was the faculty topper in BA. He edited almost 21 books, including critical works, translations, edited volumes, and poetic anthologies. He has written an 800-page long book on the Mahabharata. He has propounded an original critical framework and theory of Ram, where Ram stands for resetting all misinterpretations presented through an extensive reading of select sections of the Mahabharata, and has edited 2 scholarly volumes on Osho literature. He holds a Harvard World Record holder. He's a Harvard World Record holder with almost 207 shayars and 100 poems in a day, 2,000 shayars in a month, and along with 4,000 poems and 90,000 shayars in the shortest span of 2 years. His work received national recognition when the mega star of Indian Hindi cinema, Sri Amitabh Bachchan, quoted from his book Shabda Samvad on his official social media platform in December 2021. He has been a former research associate at IIS Shimla, the editor of an internationally acclaimed journal Ad Editorial, and have edited 5 editions of Periodical Annual Magazine. And we all know he has been frequenting different colleges and universities as a keynote speaker, plenary speaker, and I think it is our good fortune that we will be able to listen to what he has to say.
Permitted to start. Thank you, Durbhadan, Dr. Durbhadan, for this nice introduction. I am really inspired with this land of Bihar because this is my second visit to Bihar and first visit to Muzaffarpur. I came yesterday here and I was honored to visit the university campus, Gandhi Park, and so many things in the name of the Rashtrakavi Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, J.P. Kriplani ji, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Mahatma Gandhi ji, and that really gave me impetus. That really fueled my energy, I would rather say. And Principal Madam also visited me in the guest house. And I feel honor bound to her for the kind of energy she expressed for this seminar. So this seminar, I believe, is going to reach the pinnacle. This is not that seminars are going on in the entire country. Seminars continue happening all around. What is the success of the conference is the spirit with which it is organized, it is conducted, it is participated, and it is heard. The best part is to hear the seminar, to listen to the spirit and lectures. I was going through the website of this college and I was very happy to see the vision, the mission, and the promises that this college makes. This college has a vision with regard to the empowerment of women. When we talk about empowerment of women, actually we are talking about the feminine power. not necessarily women's empowerment, but the empowerment of femininity. When we focus on feminine, that means the femininity is there also in men. It's the most vulnerable qualities, attributes that we all bear. Even a woman can be masculine, when a man can be feminine. So the focus is on feminine attributes present in all of us. So this is very interesting, and it also has a vision of education for all the students, and it specifically mentions the students from the marginalized sections of society, especially marginalized sections of society. Can you think about this vision being mentioned in the promises, that what it is going to encapsulate? When you're talking about all sections of society, you are actually representing the holistic vision. You're not focusing only on the cerebral advancement or only intellectual aspect of life. You are focusing on all dimensions in which mind, body, spirit, everything engages itself. What is the mission of this college is also very important. Empowering students to exercise the full potential by addressing all needs at social, cultural, ethical, emotional levels. And this is very significant because you can see all these points being addressed in the capsule points that the seminar brochure mentions. Madam, I told something about you. You visited me in the guest house, and I was highly inspired with the spirit and the passion that I felt in you for this conference, to organize this conference, and that spirit itself confirms the success of this seminar. So this is very interesting because the college, the premises of the college itself is very important. What vision it bears, what mission it channelizes, and what promises it makes. Promises are very important. What is the promise that this college makes is quality education. Professional education services indiscriminately. Ethics at the top level. Protection of students' health. Awareness of social values, and zero tolerance to anything that belongs to indiscipline. These all things are encapsulated in the mission, in the promises, in the vision, and the same reflects in the brochure of the seminar. It justifies, the seminar theme justifies itself with what college aims at. Utilization of a theme which really goes with the mission and vision of the college itself. You must have gone through the brochure and you may have read these points like myth and modern Indian writing, folk traditions and oral traditions, myth and gender representation, myth and post-colonial writing, tribal and indigenous narratives, diaspora and cultural memory, historical narratives and nationhood, literature, religion, society, translation, adaptation. What is there which is not encapsulated in this concept? Almost these points themselves narrate the holistic vision that the conceptualization of the topic itself suggests. And this has been brilliantly portrayed. Because when you consider this, it is going to focus on what? It is going to focus on the aspects which are generally relegated to the background. And that has been highly focused by our Rashtrakavi Ram Hari Singh Dinkar. I was reading his poems, who says that two stanzas I would like to quote here with respect to the theme of the seminar, because that makes it holistic. And that is, Tejasvi Samman Khojte Nahi Gotra Badlate. तेजस्वी सम्मान खोजते नहीं गोत्र बतलाते, पाते हैं जग से त्रस्त अपना कर्तव्य। हीन मूल की ओर देख जग गलत कहे या ठीक, वीर खींच कर भी रहते हैं इतिहासों में ली। ऊंच नीच का भेद न माने वही श्रेष्ठ ज्ञानी है, दया धर्म जिसमें सबसे बड़ी प्राणी है। क्षत्रिय वही हरि हो जिसमें निर्भयता किया, सबसे श्रेष्ठ वही ब्राह्मण है हो जिसमें तपत्या है। पूछो मेरी जाति शक्ति को तो मेरे भुजबल से, रवि समाज दिपित ललाट से और कवच कुंडल से। पढ़ो उसे जो झलक रहा मुझ में तेज प्रकाश, मेरे रोम रोम में अंकित है मेरा इतिहास। और अंतिम शैल है कि मूल जानना बड़ा कठिन है नदियों का वीरों का, धनुष छोड़कर और पुत्र क्या है रणवीरों का। पाते हैं सम्मान तपोबल से, भूतल पर शूर जाति जाति का शोर मचाते खेल होता है। These are wonderful lines by Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, which present the real capabilities of society which must be recognized, because only then you are going to imagine or decode what is encoded in what we call myth. Myth is very important. Why it is very important? Because myth has always been misunderstood. What I'm going to talk about here may appear to be right, because that is what I have really worked on for in the last 7 to 8 years. I'm going to talk about the theory of Ram, where Ram stands for resetting all misinterpretations. We are going to talk about Ram that was there in Ram also. The only way to see the literature that illuminates is Ram. Bharatiyata is Ram. Bharat is Ram. How? Is it not that we see literature through lens? Do we not have lens of culture, lens of ideology, lens of caste, lens of religion? Have we described all the lenses? You may have heard about J. Krishnamurti, a great mystic consultant. J. Krishnamurti has said that if you call green color as green, you haven't seen the clock itself. The idea of greenness is given to you. You see that. If you can dissolve all these layers, all these lenses, only then you can see what is what. Never before. If you have to describe this room, do you think you can count the fans, you can count the ACs, you can count the podium, you can count everything? But if you have to describe it, numerical description may be same, but explanation, do you think explanation will ever be going to be same? Never. Why does it happen? Because we have different ways of thinking, different lenses. Come to literature. When we come to literature, do we not have different lenses? Lens of deconstruction, lens of post-colonial theory, lens of hermeneutics, lens of phenomenology, lens of psychoanalysis, lens of the green studies. There are many lenses that we use. But the question is, we are here talking about myths in Indian English literature. Are we going to apply these lenses to appreciate or depreciate or decode or encode, whatever, to see the Indian literature? Do we have a lens that we can claim to be the Indian lens? Have we ever been able to evolve any lens? Or we are still trapped? We must have a lens that we can call as Indian. And if text, the esoteric text, if they are seen through that, so what is envisioned by the propagators, like suppose Krishna talks something in Gita. So Gita is also interpreted in a way. When people talk about the burn Gita, there are scholars, great scholars, who say burn Gita, because it talks about Varna system. Krishna has also pointed out. But is there not a question on you that how you are looking at the text? Looking at the text makes much difference. You may look in a way which makes you rise, and you may look in another way which gives you the downfall. How you are looking at it is very important. So one thing is very clear, there are multiple perspectives to see a text, and no perspective you can claim to be the whole. But you cannot deny at the same time that there is something which you may miss. Like if you describe this room, being inside the room or being outside the room, suppose you are outside the room and you are describing this room. So the description or the interpretation that you make, will it ever be in consonance with what is described from the people or by the people being inside the room? No, it's going to be different. The one who is outside will have one interpretation, the one who is inside will have different, another interpretation. And there will be multitudes, many layers, many ways of seeing this thing. But those who are also inside will have different ways of looking at it. But if you ask this room, that oneness that this room has as a spirit, that will never be attained, that will never be decoded by any interpretation. That will only be possible when all interpretations are wrong. The question shall remain, how to drop those interpretations. And for that, I will be talking about the theory of Ram. Coming back to literature, and we generally associate our ideas with the theory that literature is the mirror of life, which has been contradicted long back. It's not merely, it does not merely mirror the society. It cannot really do it. And the example that I have told you about the description of this room will tell two dimensions. One, multiplicity of description of this room, and one at the spirit level, the essentiality of this room, which is not possible in interpretation. So there are inward approach, there is outward approach, and you may be aware of the linearity of thought, the linearity and the circular vision, the Occidental approach and the Oriental approach. I will not get into the details, thinking that you already know these things. If you are approaching a reality with Oriental approach, what you are going to get? And if you are approaching a text, a poem, a drama, whatever, or an esoteric literature, through Occidental approach, what you are going to be at is also important. So describing the room from within and describing the room from without makes much difference. We have developed in medicine many departments, neurology, separate department, ophthalmology, other department, dermatology, but they are all studying one single body. Curing one part may not be a complete treatment. One part is treated, another part is not. Unless the body is treated in a holistic manner, no treatment, and that's why we talk about Ayurveda and homeopathy. Because these are the patches that treat the body from its root. When you are approaching a text, the question of what the root is shall always remain and should always remain in the mind. No lens is going to take you to the root. It will take you to something, but that something is not root. You have to attend to root. What could be the root in Indian English literature? Because do we not have other literatures like American? We do have American literature, we do have Australian literature, Canadian literature, South African literature, African American literature, South Asian literature. What is the difference between these literatures and that of Indian English literature? It's very important thing, because what makes the difference is the word Indian itself. Do you not think? Are you not inspired with the use of the word Bharat and India? there are feelings, there are philosophies attached with the word Bharat. And there are different connotations with the word Indian. We see our knowledge system as Bharati Jnana Parampara. But I don't know why we are trapped with IKS, Indian knowledge system. We talk about Bharat, at the same time we talk about Indian. We use that. Because the word Indian has a different connotation and the Bharat has a different connotation. If you have the phrase Bharati Jnana Parampara, why can't we use abbreviation of this phrase? Still, because what is Indian is not Bharat or Bharatiya. What is knowledge is not Jnana, and what is Parampara is not system. I will again not go into details because there are differences. And if we really talk about, if we really wish to talk about Bharati Jnana Parampara, we should not use the term Indian knowledge system, but it is rampantly used. Indian, the word Indian makes the difference. There has been a scholar who talked about India is not a geography. India doesn't reside within the map that we have. India resides in the search for the truth of life. Means Bharat stands for the search of the truth of life. Who is searching for the truth of life? You may talk about Aurobindo in literature. Sri Aurobindo, Maharishi Abhibiri, Raja Rao, Raja Rao. But there is other writers as well, Kamla Das is there. And there are many modern writers. And there is Dalit literature also, which is countering all that you have talked about philosophically. Sometimes we think Dalit literature standing anti to what is the master narrative of the grand literature we talk about. But that is not anti. Every criticism gives you opportunity to review yourself, because all that is falling points are questioned. And if you really understand those grand narratives, you will get them purified, refined. It is an opportunity. So all the literatures that we have, holistically if they are taken, they will talk about, they will pave the path towards a holistic vision which is actually possible. Because if you read Dalit poetry, you will be flabbergasted, demolishing everything that is there spoken by Vedas and Upanishads. But does that mean Vedas, Upanishads don't have any stand? No. That is a point which has been taken by this book that has also addressed to be by those who understand. Gita has talked about Varuna system. Krishna himself has talked about what is that connotation. When you are asleep, there is a dream. So if you awaken, dreams will evaporate. So remember, myth is never mithya. Myth is not even false. There are so many myths. The myth of Jatak Kathas we have heard. Panchatantra we have read the children's stories that the children may like. We may also like. But those stories are not meant for children. Children may enjoy it, but they are not meant for children only. They have a deep layer. If understood, you will get to know what their message is. So those stories work as a myth. But those stories are not myths. Stories are told, narrated, fabricated in a way that they become myth and let you understand what they intend to tell you. If you miss that, then the myth will not be able to serve its purpose. Today, the research is very necessary to work on this dimension, that we should take all myths and try to decode what is encoded there. Then misinterpretation will not be possible. And that will not be through any lens. Let me remind you. All the lenses that the Western literature has given to us, this will not be possible. I have been teaching the text Mahabharata, and this is after NEP is also here, Silapatikaram and Abhigyan, Shakuntalam and Mahabharata, some sections. I was teaching students and I was troubled by teaching. I took 5 years and I wrote a book which I presented man today. There I have exploited this theory of Rama. We are also prone to call Mahabharata as Mahabharata, Rama as Rama, and we never think that we are mispronouncing our words. There is a 10 long page chapter dedicated to that. Pronunciation, how our pronunciation have got distorted. Even my name is distorted. My name is Praveen. Under the influence of English, people call me Praveen. My name has lost its spirit, its soul. Even Hindi professors in Delhi University, Praveen ji. I am deserving with them. Call me Anshuman, that's fine. Don't call me Praveen. I am Praveen. All our yoga ho gaya. There are people, if you tell them yoga, the original word is yoga, there is no such word as yoga. They don't know there is a word as yoga. Why this happens? This happens because of being under the influence of a language which has overpowered your mind. You have lost connections with your roots. So coming back to the point through which we should see all our literature. There are two words in English, global and local. You must be aware of. Global, local. Now global has become local and local has become global. So a new word has been created. Glocal. You all are aware. With this analogy, I created a different word. There is cosmic. There is cosmic and there is local. And with the combination of the two words, the word I find is cosmocal. When Vedavyasa would be talking about Mahabharata, when Krishna is speaking Gita, there are more than 1,000 interpretations of Gita. Can you say Krishna meant all 1,000 versions? Never. Krishna had something in his mind with which he was speaking to Arjuna. What is that? हम बच्चों को हाई स्कूल में पढ़ाते हैं रीडिंग, प्री रीडिंग, री रीडिंग. So I'm talking about pre-reading. Before you read yourself, before you read a book, before you read Krishna, what is there in the mind of Krishna? Cosmocal, pre-reading, before reading. I combine the word and I coin the word pre-reading. So cosmocal pre-reading. Cosmocal reading is the method through which you can understand the wisdom inscribed within the text of all esoteric literature emerged in the Bharati soil. There cannot be any other method because when you approach a text, you are not approaching a text for the knowledge. There is a difference between knowledge and knowledge. And just because of the difference, we say knowledge, one knowledge and other as wisdom. We are actually extracting wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge travels horizontally. It creates information. Information is not knowledge, the real knowledge that we talk about. The real knowledge that we come and can term is wisdom. So the soil of Bharat talks about wisdom, not knowledge. And that is why I was telling you, Indian knowledge system, knowledge is not Gyan. That is why I was referring. Knowledge is not Gyan. So when you want to understand Gyan, you will have to go not horizontally but vertically. How vertically you can approach the text is through cosmocal reading. When the cosmic, why Hindus have here the choti? Yoga talks about 7 centers between our body and soul. Not in the body, not in the soul, but in between. The Mooladhara, the lowest, the Sahasrara, the highest. The journey is from mundane to spirit, goes through this. And this is the vertical journey, not the horizontal. When you do the horizontal journey, you create the sansar. When you do the vertical journey, you attain to Buddhatva, Jnana, enlightenment, Shivatva. And if a literature, I will wind up my talk in 5 minutes. If a literature that uses the word Indian is talking or demolishing all that is there in Vedas or in other esoteric literature, don't be offended. It is only cutting down all the things which did not let you be on the vertical journey and experience what Indianness is. You must have heard the renowned Dalit writer Saran Kumar Limbani. In Sahitya Academy, I had a talk with him. He has demolished the aesthetic theory. His book is very famous, popular book, Aesthetic of Self-Interest. He says that the marginalized people, untouchables, cannot talk about what you talk, beauty, soundarya, no. We have our pain. I contradicted it. It's available on YouTube. I have uploaded it. I said, sir, aesthetic की परिभाषा तो वही होगी जो बोली गई है सर. It cannot be different. क्योंकि एक व्यक्ति जो मार्जिनलाइज है, शोषित है, वो अभी शोषित है, लेकिन उसके अंदर आकांक्षा उस सौंदर्य को, उस सुख को, उस प्रसन्नता को पाने की है. तो in the present context, a Dalit, a marginalized literature has the pain. I will not call it a aesthetics as different from those aesthetics which has been talked about. I will talk that they are also for that aestheticism in their aspirations, not in practical reality. There are rishis who have experienced the Anand state of that. But there are people who have not yet attained. In that aspiration resides the search. So Dalit literature is not anti to the Vedas and Upanishads. It actually is an antidote, if really understood. And how that can be understood? Is this method cosmoculturity? Without that, it will stand as antagonistic to all the literature that we worship and we really feel proud of. So when we approach all the texts that have emerged in this soil, which we say Bharatiya soil, through the method or methodology of cosmoculturity, we create a lens through which what our scriptures speak or what they have spoken, that really comes out. And if that really comes out, then you will understand what myth is. Otherwise, we will be trapped into calling myth as something which is false. So this is from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anshuman, for that insightful deliberations. As much as I understood what he has tried to say, I think he has ruffled a few feathers, and his talk was not a monolithic one. I think he has called upon us to explore the indigenous epistemic system through which we can look at the existing framework of myths. Now myths, when we look at myths, it is a word in itself. And they can be read, as he was saying, that we should not read against the grain. Rather we should, if I am not wrong, that we should read what it actually tries to say, giving the text its due credit. And this is obviously, you may disagree, you may argue with him, but I think he has a point, and he has made that point very emphatically. I would like to ask the chair that whether we would take the presidential remark right now or after the entire story. That is fine. So, so this takes me to our next esteemed speaker, Professor Shiv Kumar Yadav. He completed his higher secondary graduation from CM Science College and CM College Darbhanga, and he did his MA from Patna University, Patna. He used to be a coordinator of College Development Council of Patna University, Patna. He was the head Department of English at College of Commerce, Arts and Science, Patna. And he also has served at the Department of English, Patliputra University of Patna and CG College, Begusarai, and CM Science College, Darbhanga. He was elected as the treasurer of the Association for English Studies of India in 2012, 15 and 18. And father was elected as the chairman of Association of English Studies of India for the period of 2020-2025. His research interest includes myth, history, sociology, anthropology, and political science. He believes that to make the earth a better place to live in, we will all have to keep his or her minds and actions in proper synchrony, in harmony. So, with these words, I am honored to call upon, to invite our next speaker to the dais. Sir, please stage your question.
सेमिनार में टेक्निकल पेपर्स हो जाते हैं, लेकिन जो बाहर से आते हैं उनको सुन नहीं पाते हैं मन करके, इसलिए हमने दोनों दिन प्लेनरी रखा है ताकि हम लोग सुन पाए जो बाहर से आए हैं. And that is I think a very nice experience. You must be enjoying it, isn't it?
Good morning, good afternoon to all of you. We have been with you this morning. Before going to address the chair or any other things, I would like to have permission from the audience. Because there is a reference in Taittiriya Upanishad where you are invited by the king or by anybody else, and when you are attending the assembly, it is your duty to ask the audience, not the chair. So your permission is granted because it is very much necessary to have your permission, and it is my habit to ask the permission of the audience, and then my chairperson put this session. First of all, I acknowledge the presence of the audience because they don't know me. Since you are asking something about my bio note, actually I generally don't give the subjective facts of my personality. Whatever he has introduced you regarding my objective facts, where from I did this, where from I did that, now I am going to say that is glimpse of it. Whole paper or everything that I have constructed or written is my interpretation. And before going to say anything else regarding my interpretation, certainly I have to give you the clue where from this interpretation comes. I am nearly 60 years old, crossing my 60th spring, and being brought up by my family, my friends, my colleagues, my colleagues of different places. And there, whenever I look back to my family, they will find that my introduction will be like that. My family has shaped my present interpretation of my article. My father was a follower of Kabir. My mother was a follower of Kabir, a blind follower of Kabir, but at the same time, follower of all kinds of gods existing on this world. My brother was so like that. My younger brother was so like that. They were always carrying all kinds of flowers getting from the temple in his pocket. All the time. My father never used to eat anything from the temple. My grandfather was so adamant that they were never taking anything from any side of the temple, because he was a true follower of Kabir. My mother's side was completely, you can say, polytheist. In the beginning of the family, I found that different people have different kind of things. My niece started to do some some kind of research on my family. She is a lawyer. She talks about that kind of things, the constitutional morality of my family members. There I just gave them the clue that how you are going to reshape yourself. If you have the souvenir, you can go through just the abstract of my seminar. The topic is, I am a Hindu, I am not a Hindu. The section made by Shashi Tharoor, Kancha Area, and the Supreme Court or the Constitution in the modern time, in the contemporary time, is the great leveler. Leveler, you have Quran, you have Gita, you have Gurbani, you have Sakhi Sabad Ramani, you have Ekantva, you have Bhuttapad, everything you have. You are carrying all these traditions as a baggage on your shoulders. You narrate a yay, but what do you follow? What do you follow? How your mental thought is being created? What is Jagat? If Jagat is not physical, even it is mental thought. It is being created by our Constitution or by Supreme Court. That's why I have decided to go through the book, Why I Am a Hindu. I think we should read it. Because this particular book has been written by Shashi Tharoor, which our Bhai Shansha sir had quoted. Because I find him a centrist. And as you know, that the place, if you go through the ideas of Krishna, Buddha, or even Socrates or Aristotle, you will find that there is one compromise everywhere, whether it is Kabir also, that they are following the whether it is in Ecumenian ethics, whether it is Madhyam Patpada, whatever it is going to be said. This is the condition of the world, that they are going to be extremists, they are going to be narrowist fundamentalists, they are going to be orthodoxists, they are going to be orthodoxies, but they cannot avoid to be in the middle. It is really a great task to be in the middle, because we don't know the lower and we don't know the higher. And that's why I feel, by giving my views in a nutshell, that what kind of man I am, can you guess? I feel myself completely agnostic. Just going through the framework of all, I decided that I cannot tell a lie to myself. I have to accept my limitation, I have to accept my strength, and I have to declare it on this dash that I am agnostic. Unless I am not agnostic, it is very difficult for me to justify the interpretation of this particular topic. So, this is my small introduction. Whenever, and the time when I got a line from ESCDA, I got the germination of these ideas. That whether I should start, from I should start. When I got the letter or the invitation from man or Gitanji, I started to think in terms of what kind of things I should start. Or in the meantime, I got a quotation of T.S. Eliot, who he wrote in 1941 while talking about the choice of Kipling verse London. And T.S. Eliot wrote in that particular forward of the book, Kipling is of India in a different way from any other Englishman who has written, and in a different way from that of any particular Indian who had a race, a creed, a local habitation, and if a Hindu, a caste. If a Hindu, a caste, has actually tormented me at all. It has tormented me. Why categorized as a caste. This is the point where I was starting to think that why somebody from outside, we have a great, if I am proud of anything from my side of India, I would like to say it is Upanishad. Where from I find Buddhism also, where from I find Shankar also, where from I find Kabir also, where from I find many others, and that is from Upanishad. 108, Sadhu had quoted 108 Upanishad, and according to many one, that a level of 13 Upanishads are important ones. And that's why we are finding a kind of repetition in different texts, in a different context. But one thing that makes us proud, that one of the most scientific and the theoretical framework, I am just talking about a theoretical framework, because to me, if you are categorizing any religion as a student of postmodernist ideas, any religion or any book or any piece of art is also a piece of propaganda. We want to change, we want to improve, we want to idealize, we want to realize, and then we want to integrate. These are three things that we want to do with the help of the book. Either we idealize what should be, or what it is to realize, and after idealizing, after realizing, we are going to emulate. Emulatism, Thomas Hardy. We can improve, can have an ideal construct, but the ideal construct is different from the real one. And what are the roles of writers and authors? They are going to just say something, not for his egotistic satisfaction, but with a purpose to emulate the condition of the people, those who are really living in the Jagat Mithya, in the real world. This emulation is the task of literature or any art, arts or arts. So when I got this particular idea, I found it very clearly why Jean-Paul Sartre has refused Nobel Prize. Because he did not want to be a kind of person who is going to subscribe the idea of a particular one. Those who have made the choice to select him as a Nobel Prize winner, certainly the group had a kind of idea about Sartre, and Sartre refused to obey. So is the case with Jenny Artenberg. What he says, I am not a politician, I am an author. I cannot go with the majority. I have my own conscience. I will remain with that conscience. Teacher, secretary to the king, or a doctor to the peasant cannot afford to tell a lie. If they are going to tell a lie, certainly things are going to from bad to worse. All these things I have said just to help you to know my introduction, who am I? Now I address Professor Anita Singh, my well and I think a very nice administrator ever I have seen, Professor Mamta Rani, all the colleagues, my friends Akbar, Madhurji, Bhuvanji, Debrasya, Paramhansi, and those I don't get instantly the name, but many of Jitendraji, Santoshji, all of those who are part of this audience, I feel obliged to you. This book, Why I Am a Hindu, has three sections. First section, he is talking about my Hinduism. In the subsection, my Hinduism, the Hindu way, questioning Hindu customs and great souls of Hinduism. In these four sections, you will be, I will advise to all of you, if you don't want to read Vedas, you don't want to read Upanishad, you do not want to read any other book because we have little time to go through this voluminous work. Kindly go through it. Within only 100 pages. He has taken help from outside also, those who have utilized our conception of God, our conception of existence, our conception of universe. You will be certainly thrilled to know that what our Hinduism is. So in this section, I have gone through it I have read it twice, and I found it very clearly that what Hinduism is. The second part, the political Hinduism. He has described a very different kind of things that is going on. So the idealization of the Hinduism has done in the first section. And its spiritualization that is going on is he has built in a political Hinduism in the second. What the name he has given, Hinduism has kept it intact, and that what he stands. But for political Hinduism, he gave the terms Hindu Court. But Supreme Court has just changed this scenario. He has equalized Hinduism and Hindutva together. But if you go through the judgment, many judgments, but very important judgments, I will come to that. That is going to be the part of this dissection. So dissection has been done by me, not by me. I am just a person who is just comparing all these three. Just like on the stage, somebody is coordinating the things. I am not original at all. What I am doing, just bringing all these things together and helping us, each other to know that that is the purpose of seminar. Seminar means listen together. While you read alone. When you speak, you are being listened by all. And it is one of the members when we have the interaction in the principal chambers. I was really thrilled to know her views that right should be right different, and to be right is something different. And the way she was telling the things, I got encouraged that the dash will be in favor of a person like me. In the second section, the title is Hinduism and Politics of Hindutva beyond holy call. What is the purpose of this universe? What is the purpose of mankind? We are talking of meaningless, absurdity. But we have given a kind of ideas. Whether it is right or wrong, that is very different thing, but we can hold these ideas. Whom moksha is not achievable, we can have a kind of illusion. There is a moksha. And the second part is Atmano moksha tham jagat hitai chans. In order to live in this earth, I want to have moksha, but helping the world. Whatever that I am talking about, the emulation of the words, jagat hitai chans. That only two concepts. At an individual level, I want to have moksha, salvation. Or at an organizational level, at an institutional level, I need to have to help others. अष्टादश पुराणेश व्यासस्य वचनं द्वयम् प्रोक्ताराय पावाय परहित सरस धर्म नहीं तुलसी पर पीरा अधमाई करते हैं परहित सरस धर्म नहीं. So important ideas of Hinduism. Udar Chaitanya Umbasveti Proveti Anicca Proveti Ganada Uchesa Udar Chaitanya Umbasveti Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the mission of the Prapancha. Whole earth is one. Sorry, sir, I could not recognize you at the first instance. Eko aham dutyo nasti. Atmanam vidhi. Khud ko jano. Know yourself, know thyself. At Pratipobha. And finally, that is from Upanishad, Yastu Sarvani Bhutani, Atmanyavanu Pashyati, Sarvbhuteshu Chatmanam, Tato na Viduddhus Upusite, Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani, Atmeva Janata, Tatkombo, Soka, Ekatna Pashyati. He who has seen all things, he who sees all things. The person who sees the universe as universe, neither who desires nor he has any kind of repentance. So he who sees all things in himself and himself existing in all of them, Tattvamasi. He who is existing in all of them, who has realized the unity diversity, is the prime core tenets of our Indian thought. Through the same entity, manifesting all that exists, can have no hatred, no illusion, no belief. For those crop up of the ignorance which generates a sense of isolation, isolation. Those who are going to have hatred in business, they don't know the world. They don't know the existence. You might have read the poem of Robert Frost, Fire and Ice. And ice is hot plate. Desire is fire. And I think, I do not get so easily agreed to Robert Frost. Because desire is within us, and that is within us. Excess of desire is going to be different, and lesser of desire is going to make you dirty. देवता और दानव के बीच में इतना ही अंतर है कि देव इच्छा जो है अगर सीमाओं में है और दूसरे के लिए है तो देवत्व हो जाता है और सीमाओं से बाहर हो जाता है तो दानव. If humanity is going to start from this particular dichotomy, and this is the real dichotomy that we experience every day, all the time since morning to evening, all the time we are going to have different personality in different contexts, with your friends, with your wife, with your brother, your children, and in the audience also. Unable to speak the truth, taking the cognizance of the audience, who may be, what he said, what he might have think about me if I am going to tell the truth. Oscar Wilde reminding me again and again, give me a mask, I can tell you the truth. If you are unknown, you can tell the truth. If you are known on the dance, it is very difficult to say the truth. It is very difficult to say the truth. I must have the courage to say the truth. Thank you. I'm going to just telling you that Audi Alteram partner. Listen to the other side also. And in the week, I am going to listen to the Kancha edition. When I read this book, I found it very good contrast between one to the other. What is surprising is that Kancha has not contradicted the ideas that has propounded by or has been categorized by Sasi Thakur in the first section of his book. Never he has contradicted. That is the good aspect of the other side, that they are ready to listen. They are ready to listen to the basic tenets of humanism. But on the other side, he has made a comparison, and he is one to speak like a speaker, a kind of a speaker on behalf of Dalit Bahujan. And that's why he is claiming, he is declaring himself that I speak on behalf of Dalit Bahujan. A kind of declaration has affected me. that on what ground such a book has been written just because he has written I am Hindu. He has started to write why I am not a Hindu. He writes how childhood formations, differences between marriage of one group to other, the way the market behaves in one group and other, and the all social beliefs are being governed. One thing is very clear, that he was writing all these things in the context of shocking. That's why I am not putting in elaboration that what are the things that he has taken into consideration when making a contrast between the rituals, dogmas, or whatever the things that he has noticed or found in the prevailing circumstances in Indian society. The emergence of new Kshatriyas and the organization of power relation, contemporary Hinduism in which he is talking about, the idea that Arun has talked about in the second section, in which he is talking about where the Hinduism getting characterized in the present time, or whether it is going to retreat back to the Islam time. That is the point he has discussed. Then Hindu gods and our gods. Here I found a very different kind of experience. The idea of anthropology helped me a lot. How caste tribe are going to be in a continuum. How local deities are going to be subscribed by the great traditions. How the local traditions are going to be submerged into the water. How the high tradition is going to be put upon the local traditions. This is the sociological process, in the meaning of local traditions and great traditions, and at the same time, the tribe continuum in the journey of civilization. If anybody is going to claim superiority of one race or one caste, I think he is not scientific. I cannot say any other words except that he is unscientific. And to me, to be unscientific is a kind of derogatory word. So Hindu gods and our gods, Hindu death and our death, they are going to have a different kind of death on the basis of burial. What I found in my village also, all my experiences, truth is coming before me, while I am analyzing the text, all that I have read is Akarmasi by Sadhu Kumar Limbale, which Dr. Anshuman has printed before us. From that and from this book, I am going to relate, Professor, going to remind about Anshuman sir, that in the Akarmasi, Sadhu Kumar Limbale has named his son as Anarya. That is the end of the book. And here I find that there is a kind of decolonization. Our main project, the great project, is going to have decolonization from the West. That is a very good aspect of this governance. That we want to decolonize ourselves because we have everything else. Now we are not looking into that. We are looking at everything from the Western lens, and that we are going to feel more secure. So decolonization process is very good. But when you read Akarmasi, when you read Kanchayalaya, when you read Anand Tilpake, there is a kind of decolonization going on inside India also. They do not want to be colonized by you. They want to have the follower of Buddha. They want to have the agnosticism. They want to have so many things. They do not want to accept our God. That is the point. And the point is so important that we have to, as an audience, and a part of the audience, we have to think seriously in the direction of the research. That's how we are going to have a kind of coordination to make India a Bharat, where all kinds of thoughts, logics exist together like my family. In every family you are going to have agnostic, atheist, or religious person. So many times I little bit. So once in my family, my father died, my mother died, and I started protesting that I was not going to do any rituals. No rituals at all. According to Kabira, I was going to give the distant burial only there. My whole village fought against me. My brother did all these things. My younger brother did all these things. I didn't do. He did. So see the democracy of my family. My younger brother did all kinds of rituals. I didn't do anything else. Unfortunately, my previous brother and my whole future brother to no more in this world. I am alone as diagnosed. So he is actually advocating Dalitization, not Hinduization. Here we have to think. Why they are want to Dalitize? Why they want to have their own aesthetics? Because just like Dr. Usman Sir was talking about, the aesthetics in the sense of Sanskritization. We have described mimicry. We are criticizing mimicry. What we are talking about is Sanskritization. Sanskritization is a local mimicry. And they are going against Sanskritization. They want to have Dalitization. This is the point where our researchers will have to look into. We have to make a kind of India where everyone is to be, not to be segregated, but to have a unified whole. And we are capable to have. We are capable to have because we have been assimilating since last thousands of years. All came and all became Indians. And that's why we are talking about, in the terms of geography, those who live in India, in Jammu Deep, they are Hindu. Why Hindu? Hindu is African. If you remove the religious connotations, everybody will accept that they are Hindu to Hindu. But when we are going to give a connotation to any other meaning, certainly there will be a kind of conflict. So the last 7th chapter of the Dalitization, not Hinduization. And there is the point that I want you to do. This is the project of our researchers and scholars. Then we have to listen to the other side also. That is, the future is being researched, searched and researched. But I have gone through many of the depiction, many of the research cases. They are doing cases for cases only, or PhD only. We have to find out a kind of reconciliation, truth and reconciliation. Not Nelson Mandela. The undercurrent is something different. So what we have to think? We have to make India a Hindu India in the sense of geography. And those who are going to make a kind of protest, subterranean level, subliminal level, and all of you are noticing. Ma'am was talking about it very sincerely, that we have to listen to them. We have to speak. This is academic platform. Here we have to listen to each other. We cannot deny we cannot deny their project. In 1930, Premchand declared in Progressive Agri Association, what is the role of aesthetics? He found a kind of beauty in the woman who is working in the field and her children is playing in the field or lying on the road. He was taking of the aesthetics like this. That woman is to be appreciated. That woman to be appreciated, the beautiful women are those women, those who are working in the field and her children is playing beside the field. That was the statement made by Premchand in 1930 and we are going to have 2030. So aesthetics is to be changed. How we can give a space to the aesthetics? Black is beautiful. For us, black is not beautiful. We cannot accept black is beautiful. You have to appreciate the negative. You have to say everything like that. The attitude which is going to be negative, and we have to have that kind of attitude. And what is my proposition is that we are capable enough to do this. Diffusion is going on. Amalgamation is going on through different sociological process and historical process. But we never do the effort. We have the guided like a catalyst. We have to make that catalytic approach to make the process fast. To make the process fast and so that into yes.
Thank you, sir, for this interesting talk. While I was listening to your talk, I was reminded of what I was listening to the great Izaz Ahmad, and Izaz Ahmad said that India is not a singular place. We have many Indias within India. And indeed, all those Indias that contribute to the greater India or the idea of India. Whether it's the assimilation of the idea of Bharat that has gone up and made this idea of India that we celebrate today, and
can we have this purist attitude that this is ours and this is not ours? So whenever, even when we look at this debatable idea about who is Hindu and who is not a Hindu, and the way our esteemed speaker has elaborated upon the need of assimilating different paths or different modes of thought to celebrate this idea of Hindu or Hinduism. I would now request the chairperson of this session, Professor Anita Singh, to come up with his presidential address. Should we take that? And after that, we can have few minutes of discussion and debate if you are interested, or comments if you really have one. Thank you. So,
If you want to ask some questions, before I start,
What decision has said? We make a habit of question. And the questions can be what?
Sir, there is a question from my side.
From you, sir, because you talked about I am a Hindu, I am not a Hindu. So, what provoked you to work on this kind of thing? I am a Hindu, I am not a Hindu. Why did you think of, the kind of thing, I am a Muslim, I am not a Muslim? Why did it not come to your mind?
I want to set my house in order. First and foremost, I must confess that I want. First thing that as I started to say, first thing I must tell you that I started from myself. Notice of it. You have noticed my early beginnings of the part of the speech. I have started from myself, then my family, then my community, then my state. So I want to set my house in order. And that order is going to make a order of the world. We cannot be this Guru unless only your house is in order. How you can claim, how you can profess that you are in Vishnu? You have the capability of that. You have all capability at the level of thought. When we are talking about the quantum mechanics, wave and particle, and there you cannot identify both of them together. Abstract and concrete cannot be found together. Jagat Mithya Brahma Shamya cannot be found together. Both of them are different. So what my proposition is that all the time I take care of myself. I am a great selfish man. I never take care of others. I always take care of myself, and it is my principle. It's a perfect principle. I do everything for love, to love myself. Whenever I love myself, all work needs to be easy. Because whenever I do for my pleasure, my bliss. Never I work for others. Not for my wife, not for my children. If I begin torture, I find the kind of pleasure in torture. Pleasure of pain is more pleasurable than the pleasure of pleasure itself. He said it. If a wife tortures me, I feel pleasure because I have allowed her to torture me.
There should be some kind of interaction that is good for this life. What I think, instead of thinking of I am a Hindu, I am not a Hindu, instead of thinking all this, we should think first of all, I am a human being, I am not a human being, and this will, accommodate everyone, whether Hindu, Muslim,
You said no. You
Yes, sir.
are thinking about God. And you said the answer is first I think about myself. I love myself. That is the answer. That's the answer.
One thing, sir, let me elaborate it. Sir, as you told me, human being, next question, human being, what I have elaborated. If you see I consider a joke as a literature. I define any interaction as a kind of action. So even in a lighter vein, I give the answer in a lighter vein, but it has a serious impact. Joke is a kind of literature. Graffiti is a kind of literature that is being done on the bathroom or in a railway line. You can find the mindset of the people, those who are traveling in Rajdhani or those who are traveling in local train. So all the graffiti is part of literature, sir. Art cannot give you hard influences. Thank you.
I also want to ask, what is your wife's opinion, sir? What is your wife's opinion? Whether she is an internship or a teacher?
I must answer this question because being a private question, it has a quality to the public one.
We want to imagine, sir. We want to imagine the environment and your
Actually, she is also agnostic. That is a very important aspect of it. Please speak in my family just because she thinks like me.
And one question, I think that will be by Dharmaraj ji, and after that, Presidential. Come here. Teacher है class में बोलेंगे.
Hello.
बोले हुए आपका सेमिनार क्या करेगा?
नहीं, ये सेमिनार part
My question is with Professor Anshuma. Congratulations for your elaborate timing. The very unique title of the theory itself, Shri Rama theory, Rama theory as you called it. So first of all, a question. What is Rama theory? Unfortunately, I failed to understand. And one comment. As you described that when you were interviewing Sharan Kumar Limbali at Sahitya Akademi program, then you said that his propositions of aesthetics, you wanted to make him understand that these can be part of the grand narrative that you defended in your presentation. So his aesthetics can be incorporated but not challenged. I think my comment on this, that is from this idea, basically the emergence of the literature started. Because every time you are thinking, or the people who pretend to be the supporters and followers or the creators of grand narratives, they have misunderstanding that they can incorporate whole world into their grand narrative and other narratives. But that is the opposite of the literature. That is what they are saying. That whatever the grand narratives are, these have been occupied, these have been captured from our aesthetics. This has been one of the major thrusts of the Dalit literature. That is my comment and question. What is Rama? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dharmaraj. You have a wonderful name itself, Dharmaraj. Actually, Rama theory doesn't have anything with Ram Lakshmana. I told it is an abbreviation of resetting all misinterpretations, which is very necessary. All the misinterpretations will be reset through this theory of Ram that uses a methodology. What is that methodology? I clearly defined as cosmocal breeding. Cosmocal being a combination of cosmic plus local, the way global plus local and local word has been coined. Similarly, cosmocal has been coined with the combination of cosmic and local. Breeding is an effort of reading the text before it was scripted. When Krishna speaks, what he speaks is in his mind. And we read his word through our mind. Like if I say, I am feeling headache. Can you understand my headache? I am asking, can I understand my headache? No. If I say, I am feeling Timbuktu. No. let me come to the point. I'm saying, I'm feeling Timbuktu. Yeah, I'm feeling confronting. Do you connect with confronting or headache? What word do you connect with? Have you never had headache in your life? Why don't you connect with it? When I say I am feeling headache, you connect with the word. But surprisingly, you do not connect with the headache that I have. You get connected with the headache that you have ever had in your life. You never understand my headache. My headache remains my headache. Your headache remains your headache. So you understand my headache with your headache, which is not my headache. You yourself become Krishna. When you attend to that state of mind, and to know that, to grasp that, you have to reset all misinterpretations and all misrepresentations. Thank you.
Make it lighter. I must say कि एक पंक्ति है कि नाथ एक आवा कपिभारी सही अशोक वाटिका उजाड़ी सब प्रसंग व्याख्या कीजिए। तो ये था, लेकिन जो हम अपने डिफरेंट लेंसेज की बात करी है, तो अपने तरफ से देखें तो उसका कैसे कैसे हो सकता है। तो एक व्यक्ति ने उसका व्याख्या किया, उसका अर्थ समझाया कि एक कपि आया है, वो बहुत भारी है, सही अशोक वाटिका, वो अशोक बा और टिकल बा, मतलब वाटिका को उसने अलग कर दिया, तो कहा कि टिकल बा और जारी, तो लंका के जारी। तो मीनिंग क्या था कि सही अशोक वाटिका उजाड़, अशोक वाटिका उजाड़ देगा, लेकिन उसका मीनिंग क्या निकाला गया कि टिकल बा और तो लंका के जारी। तो यही है कि अपने अपने पर्सपेक्टिव से हम दुनिया को देखते हैं। We all have our own symptoms, our own lenses. That lens second is this. Okay?
चार फ्लाइंगमैन और एक हाथी वाला
I have a question for Mr. Agnostic, sir. How did you, I'm happy that your wife also shares your views and your ideas. And because you talked about the rituals about which we consider as the 16th sanskar, as a Hindu, 16वां संस्कार मानते हैं. I am interested in knowing how to be married in a Hindu way, in a non-Hindu way, in an agnostic way. Do you believe in your marriage? Marriage is a very important thing. It is not being personal. It is being very social, very statement-less.
Questions and answers are very
interesting
interesting.
questions, and I think I'm fortunate enough to listen to me. Actually, I'm not asking that if your wife is also shares with you. She just wants to know that when we get married, what was the method? How it was organized?
Whether you followed the ritual of
Yes, no.
marriage.
At that time, he was from different family. I am from my different family. I am at the social plane. Still, I told you that my brother did all rituals in the same family. My brother performed all rituals that he wanted to do in the family. I didn't. I was there. Whole family was there, and it was solemnized. And according to the Supreme Court judgment, or according to Supreme Court definition of marriage, Hindu marriage, if I am Hindu, if he is a Hindu and going to marry a Hindu marriage act, then you have to perform all the seven. Saptapadi you have to do. That I did because I want to remain Hindu. Saptapadi is very necessary. If you are going to marry from the expression, fire, you have to do. You have to do. Yes. And the next one, Mundan, Supreme Court is going to contradict itself. When they are going to solemnization of marriage is not going to be confirmed. That is another part of the contradiction. Marriage is going to be, when you are going to have the confirmation of physical union, only then your marriage is to be continued. See the definition of Supreme Court. See, how Supreme Court is making a contradiction.
Don't have fear of compulsion.
I think
My question is to you, sir. think that the myth is the extended form of reality because our belief system is based. Had it been audible to everyone? Shall I repeat the question?
Yeah, please repeat the question.
Yeah, sir, I think, don't you think that the myth is the extended form of reality? Because our belief system is dependent on the pillars of myth. As we follow what Ram used to be or Krishna used to be, what they, like as human beings, Hinduism and what we follow, we think that whatever has been said and written, we follow that. Don't you think that myth?
I will respond to it. Myth is, I would not say myth that way. I would not call myth to be an extended form of reality. Myth is myth. And it indicates towards reality. If I raise my hands and indicate towards the sun, so my finger is not sun. Myth is not reality. Myth indicates towards reality.
Yes, that
If
is
you
what
catch the finger
Yes.
and think that this could be reality, you will be mistaken.
But don't you think that we should believe that if there is sun, there is a sun? That is not a myth.
That's why it is indicated. And now the question is to find, to look towards it, whether something really exists, and then it will be your experiential knowledge. Not believing the finger, searching towards will let you know whether the sun really exists or not. That will be your individual search. If you believe in it, it will create the misbeliefs or disbeliefs, or the belief which can be contradicted because you have not gone into searching for what it indicates towards. Got it?
Okay, one question.
Sir, let us.
Because till times they are managed.
All for the questions at the lunch hour. We will discuss.
Chairperson only the 50%.
Sir, we all know that there is no cardinal truth and this debate will never come to an end. Right? And
Sir, just a minute. I'm pointing for the questions against my backup. What's your name? Actually, sir was telling that I think that's a myth, but word myth has traveled a lot. If you are reading the context of history, in every history there is a myth, or in every myth there may be history. That is the first.
Our lifestyle has
Yes, let me complete.
This kind of discussion will be there at the lunch hour.
Let me come back. So myth, which may have history, but not sure. But in history, they are sure they are going to be myth. And first thing that in the present time, myth means false. False myth.
okay.
Something like that.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for this engaging and interesting session. I think this shows that our speakers, they have been able to prove a point. But I would like to end here that we do not have one cardinal truth. We do not actually share the Platonic idea of truth that there is only one scientific truth. We do have dialectical and social truths which actually contribute to our being. And as I said this, I would like to invite the chairperson of this session, Professor Anita Singh, for her presidential remark on this two wonderful lectures. Thank you.
So, really a thought-provoking session, and it is a privilege to be part of this international seminar on the society and cultural narratives in Indian English literature. My sincerely congratulations to the Department of English, Dr. Mamta Rani, Principal Laliत Narayan Mahavidyalaya, for organizing such a timely and intellectually enriching event. Literature has always been much more than a source of aesthetic pleasure. It preserves the collective memory of civilizations, reflects social realities, and provides a space where history, culture, imagination, and human experiences converge. Among all literary forms, myths occupy a unique position. They are not merely ancient tales or sacred stories, this is my opinion. They are symbolic narratives that continue to shape our beliefs, our values. Indian English literature, it has drawn immense strength from this rich cultural inheritance, from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata to regional folklore and oral traditions. Indian writers have repeatedly returned to mythology, not only to retell familiar stories, but to interpret them in the light of contemporary concerns. Through these reinterpretations, they question social hierarchies, challenge patriarchal structures, explore the complexities of identity, and give voice to communities that have long been marginalized. The works of Salman Rushdie, Amitabh Ghosh, Girish Karnad, Arundhati Roy, R.K. Narayan, Anita Desai, Shashi Tharoor illustrate how mythology can become a powerful medium for examining issues of caste, gender, migration, nationalism, ecology, and cultural transformation. Their writings remind us that myths are not static relics of the past, rather they are dynamic narratives that evolve with every generation, acquiring new meaning in response to changing social realities. I hope that the discussion, I want to thank Professor Tribhuvanji, who has given us some new words that are cosmocal and global. These terms should be discussed in our later sessions, later technical sessions, and should be the title, should be included in the title of coming research papers. And प्रवीण जी ऐसा था और हमारे शिव कुमार यादव सर, he has gave us so many thought-provoking ideas that will help us in our preparing research papers. Coming research papers will realize all these ideas. So I hope that the discussions over these 2 days will inspire meaningful academic exchanges, foster new collaborations, and deepen our understanding of the rich cultural heritage embedded in Indian English literature. Before I conclude, I want to say a few words for Dr. Mamta Rani, who has been my friend for 22 years, more than 22 years. So I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude and admiration for respected principal, Professor Dr. Mamta Rani, as an accomplished scholar of English literature and the patron of this international seminar. Her visionary leadership, academic excellence, and unwavering commitment to promoting research have made this event possible. Her dedication to create an environment of intellectual curiosity has been very much successful, and I want to congratulate her and her entire team on this event. Thank you.
Before we end, I have some announcements to do. Okay, after the lunch, we will have technical sessions, and it will be divided into 3 parts, means 3 parallel sessions. And I repeat, I won't give certificate to any of the participants who doesn't present or read out the paper in technical session. So there I am very much clear. You will have to read out the paper, you will have to face the questions if any arises. And we will honor our chairpersons. If they are not honored here, I feel sorry for time, because we have to maintain the time frame, we have to maintain the schedule. So we will be honoring them in their technical sessions. So now I ask Mr. Lavi to just call for the session.
Thank you, ma'am. I know we are all waiting for the lunch, we are waiting, but before we disperse for the lunch, I would like to call upon Professor Dr. Savita Naj, and I would ask ask her to convey the vote of thanks. And once we are done with it, I would then ask, I would like to invite Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra because he has important announcements to make. So, stay back and listen to this announcement.
Sir, for inviting me here. Honorable Principal, Professor Dr. Mamta Rani ma'am, our Chairperson Dr. Anita Singh ma'am, and our esteemed Professor Parveen Artikal and Professor Shiv Kumar Yadav, respected all dignitaries, all the delegates, all the executive members, research scholars, and participants. A very good afternoon to all of you. And I am Dr. Yukta Nas, and I feel immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this plenary session. And as we know, we have attended a plenary session, and this session definitely has been very impressive and very insightful. And we also get the meaning of today's theme of which is really very important, as we can say that myth, mythology, culture, all the parts of the society, and we can't disconnect from that thing. But I think from today's session we have got new ideas, perspective to understand the things. Because if we see this seminar from the perspective of the students of CBCS, they are getting Mahabharata, Abhijnana Shakuntala, Matsyatika, all these in-depth classical texts in their syllabus, and definitely this seminar is very fruitful for that students. I am also very thankful for our principal Dr. Mamta Rani ma'am that she has taken this initiative to organize this program, and that's why we are here at this response. I'm very thankful to Professor Dr. Mamta Rani ma'am, and I'm also very thankful to our chairperson Dr. Anita Singh ma'am, Head University Department of English, and she was chairing the session very gracefully, and her remarkable presence definitely very meaningful for this seminar. I am also very thankful to our speaker, Dr. Parveen Kumar Anshuman, Professor of Royal College. Sir, you have given us a new definition to think about myth and mythology. You have told us that definitely we consider myth as a false, but it is also the part of our society, and we have to keep it, as we told, about the situation of dream. As we are in the situation of dream, we can't say that it is real or unreal. But through your thought-provoking lecture, I think our students have learned so many things, and it also has given so many aspects to them. I also want to explain my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Shiv Kumar Yadav sir, Professor, Department of English of Patliputra University. Sir, you also discussed about a very thought-provoking lecture. You have talked about I am Hindu or not Hindu, and definitely it is a very, I think that it is a very hard to answer of this question, because every people has his or her perspective. But as you had told in your lecture that you were talking about your own reason, so definitely, but the thing which I can consider from your lecture, it is that when we are in a society, we have to face religion, identity, and our political issues, and we have to make synchronized and make
I hope I have shared in the group technical session list and there are serial numbers. So all are 100% sir, I don't think there will be any confusion. I am going very fast. So all those participants, they will go only according to their serial numbers, according to their room here, and all others will also remain here. Only those to this building in the right side. DCA Smart Classroom is there on the first floor, and Veena only those participants will go there. Others will not go because we don't have so big hall there. Only participants will go. Others you will sit here, you will listen to the lecture and you will interact. The chairpersons also, they have noted down their chairs. Chairpersons will go there, reporters will go, and participants will go. According to your rooms, please. According to your serial numbers, please. Just I have updated one list of the second session. Okay, of the second half session after the tea break. There some names have been added. Some names have been included by running pen hand. So you will go according to that. All right, and then another announcement for tomorrow, because we may not meet again in this hall in so much gathering. So tomorrow the 9:30 our sessions are starting. So please try to be here at 9 o'clock and sit according to again your room numbers and your serial numbers. Please be careful of this. Otherwise there will be a problem for you and for us too. Thank you so much.
And no one will ask for any certificate. If you have not presented paper, if you have not participated, I don't have a real one. तो सेमिनार के आत्मा को बचाइए, पेपर पढ़िए और तब कल ही सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा. ये 2 दिन आइए, सुनिए. हम लोग तो नौकरी कर चुके हैं, बारी आप लोगों की है. सुनिएगा, सीखिएगा.
2-3 students have asked whether they will present online, offline, PPT or what. That depends upon you. We have facility at all these 3 places. If you have PPT, come and give there. Technical persons are there, they will help you. If you want to give oral presentation, that's all. These are silly questions, please. Okay, thank you. Now we
one more question. जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स है पहले उनको खाना खाने देंगे. जो होस्ट है, जो हमारे यहाँ स्टूडेंट्स हैं, वो लोग बाद में खाएंगे, क्योंकि हम लोग को ट्रेन पकड़ना है, नेक्स्ट सेशन पकड़ना है. तो हम लोग टाइम पर जाएंगे, इसलिए पहले पार्टिसिपेंट्स वो लोग पहले चले, वो खाना खाएं और बाकी फिर उसके बाद. सो लंच